Welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on Easter Thursday. Of course, here at Montmorency, Melbourne's North. But let's go across to our friends over in Adelaide in particular. It is great to have this netball team back on the show because they were the grand finals of last year in the Premier League competition. Of course, we got three very special guests joining us right now that tells me about how the season's gone so far up to this point for South Adelaide. Join us right now. Thanks to three for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
I'll get each of you to introduce yourselves, and for the players in particular, what position play on the court?
I'll go. So I'm Jess Parody. So I play goal attack, a little bit of goal shooter as of last week, which is exciting. So happy to be here.
And I'm Casey Black. I play wing attack and centre.
And I'm Reese, and I'm one of the head coaches for our Premier League side.
Obviously, you got the week off this week, being a split round. How have you used this, split round at the moment?
I think the split round's probably come at a pretty good time for us. It's been a really intense first 2 weeks into our season, so it's been good to recover a little bit and fine-tune some of the aspects of our game that perhaps we're not as happy with, but also just reflect on our starts and what we need to do to refine certain aspects of our game as we head into another couple of really intense, hard weeks ahead of us.
I think we've had a good week on the track. We've gone out, we've worked on some basic stuff, I think, which is important for us, I think. Really go back to basics. And build up from there again. So yeah, it's been good week off.
Yeah, I agree. We had a very solid training Wednesday, so I'm excited to put that into action for our next game.
Now, I must admit, your team's topped the most cruelest draw ever to start the season. Obviously, you played last year's Premier's Contacts, then you played one of the top teams in Garville just past week, and then obviously on Anzac round, you played one of the other predominant teams in Metrics. I'm assuming you'd be glad to see the other side of this tough draw very soon.
Yeah, I think we were laughing about this the other night, saying, we've copped it pretty bad. But hey, look, that's sport. We had to face them at some point, so why not, really test us? And hopefully this coming week we'll, be able to come out with a win. So I know we're all very keen for that. So it'll be good.
I want to speak about the Sunshine Bash. You went up to Brisbane before the cyclone arrived up there a week later. You weren't the only South Australian team that went up there because obviously Contacts joined you up there as well. Tell us a bit about that and especially playing against the best Queensland teams.
Yeah, it was a really exciting change to a pre-season program for us. I think, generally speaking, we run a pre-season competition in South Australia against the other Premier League sides, which is always really beneficial. So you can get a bit of a look-see on the other teams, but, it can get a little bit repetitive as well. And given the earlier start to the season this year, I think the earlier we were able to get on court and get some solid match play under us, the better. And it was an added bonus that it was in Brisbane, which was a really exciting change. I think the benefit of coming up against different teams, different styles and different bodies gave us a really good look at where we were at, but more importantly, it forced us to play differently, to think differently and adapt to things we weren't as familiar with. We found the week really valuable. We all had a great time, and I think it also did wonders to bring in some of our new players who were in the squad this year to, do a bit of team bonding, get off the court every now and then and just enjoy the experience together.
Tell us about the new players that you brought in this season.
Well, one of us is here tonight in Casey Black. So she's new to our side, but not new to me because I've known Casey for many years and have coached her over many years, and I've been pestering her for many years. to come back into the Premier League fold, and finally this year she decided to make the move, and we're so happy to have her. Brings a really different style to our game, which I think, was something that we identified as a need after last season. She is incredibly quick on her feet, but really tenacious at the ball, never gives up, never pulls out, and really goes hard in every opportunity she gets. So we've been, really happy with her progress and her combination with Jess back in goals, and Lauren Gibbons on the other wing or centre, and of course Maggie back in goals has been fantastic to see. And then the other player we've brought in is a new defender in Alex Ward. So she came over to us from Oakdale, but actually was a junior at South Adelaide. So it's a bit of a homecoming for her, which is really exciting to see. And, she brings a bit of height, a bit of strength into our defensive circle, and probably a real shift up in how we played our circle defence last season. She's a lot more grounded in her approach to defence, a lot more on the body, not as aerial as what we've had previously, but that's where Ash Bray certainly comes in, and I think they're starting to build a really solid combination and gives us something quite different. We've also elevated a couple of players from our reserves team into Premier League this year. So that's Eliza Wriggle in our sort of wing defence back to goalkeeper positions. Incredibly tenacious as well. Massive jump on her. Can, pull netballs out of the stars, it seems, at times. But, really learning her craft in defence. And, of course, Layla Hearn, who was in our squad last year, but spent most of her time back in our reserves division, but has now found her way back into Premier League. And, is one of those young up-and-coming players that just wants to learn and just wants to be involved. And, we're really excited to see what she has to offer in our attacking end.
Going into this season, obviously, I was at your grand final last year, which I think you got absolutely robbed in the grand final. Is it the burning desire to do one better this year, even though as I said a couple of questions ago, you definitely got absolutely a really bad end of the draw to start off with. But is that the motivation?
I'd say it definitely is a motivation. Getting to play in the grand final week and all the lead up and the preparation, it is such an exciting week, and that's what we do all our pre-season and our whole season for. We don't play just to mosey on through it and just finish a season. We get there for the grand final, and so I think now that we've all had a bit of a taste for it, and unfortunately being so agonisingly close, there is a feel there to reach that again. And I know for myself, I've been around for so many damn years that I need one of these grand finals. So it's definitely fueling a lot of my fire. And while the lead in to our season has been tough, it's a long season. There's plenty more games to go that we can, work our way back into it. And, you can make finals and then there's any game from there. So, it's exciting to hit the court running, and fingers crossed, a grand final appearance again would be lovely.
Yeah, I think last season it really hurt the way it ended for us, and I think it's sort of left us with a bit of that unfinished business approach. And we're incredibly thankful and so happy that so many of the girls chose to return, because it was a really hard thing to come back from, and a bit of soul searching and a bit of reflection had to occur in the off season to make sure that we were in the right mindset to use it as fuel for this season, but also not let last season define us, and also not use it as the sole motivation, because if we get caught up thinking of last season, it's going to make this year really hard. So we've got to strike that balance, and the new people coming through certainly add to that fuel as well now, which is exciting. But certainly the way we finish our season needs to be on our terms, and that's what we're determined to do this season.
Now, I know South Australia did very well at the recent Nationals. This past week, obviously the under-17s won the Nationals for the second straight year. Tell us the couple players from the South Adelaide team that went up to Nationals, either the 17s or the 19s team.
Layla Hearn was in the under-19s this season, so we've been incredibly proud of her and her progress. You know, she's still quite new to netball, to be fair. She was originally a basketball player and has made the switch somewhat. She still dabbles in basketball, but we're trying to get her over to the dark side full time. But we'll see how that goes. But you know, she's still incredibly new to it, and still really growing her game. So for her to get that opportunity to go and play in a week-long tournament is incredibly exciting for her, and we were really proud that she was representing South Adelaide over there.
You're glad, Reese, to have her back very soon?
Oh, yes. Yeah. You know, we'll let her go for a little bit, but, you know, it's time for her to switch back into South Adelaide mode. And, you know, we never stop our players from taking on these opportunities. But, you know, on the flip side, it does really impact the Premier League season. They're on restricted duties at trainings. Sometimes they can't train at all. You know, you have to really adapt, and that's not always great for us. But, you know, it's the sacrifices you have to make. So, yeah, we'll be happy to have her back full time.
Two players in particular, where did the love of netball start, and what does it mean now?
Okay, so like I suppose my love for it initially kind of got pushed into playing netball by my mum. Bless her. She said, like, I'm her only daughter, so I'll be playing netball. So it kind of just started from that. And then, you know, started the country netball, moved to the city. And just, I think, yeah, over time, it became my sport and kind of became a lot of who I was, and went through all the pathways, and it just, yeah, it became something that I just did. So, you know, and I still love it. You know, I'm here 36 years old and still kicking on. So, so yeah, I suppose there's this ingrained love that I have for the sport. So, yeah, very important to me. So, yeah.
I'm much the same as well. I started when I was about 6 years old, followed in my older sister's footsteps, I'd say. And then, yeah, the netball club I played at, I played there for over 250 games. So, yeah, it was a bit more of a family environment for us as well. So, but yeah, that really ignited my passion as well. And I feel like I really couldn't imagine my life without it. So, yeah.
Okay. Be careful to answer this question, Jess and Casey, considering your coaches in this meeting at the moment. But if you had a dream position where you love to convince them to put you, where would that be?
I can't imagine playing anything else. I don't think I would hate to be a defender. I don't imagine myself running around for 60 minutes chasing someone. That sounds like absolute hell. And then even centre, like, while attacking, it's a lot of running. So I quite like where I am. Yeah, like maybe goal shooter a bit more, maybe just less running. I don't know.
I think for me, it'd probably be really dangerous if I was in a goal circle, considering how short I am. I probably wouldn't mind playing defense, though. I do like to chase down some players and get a bit feisty. So I think that would be fun.
Okay. Reese, tell us how you mentioned about, obviously you've coached these two for a while now. What have you learnt from Jess and Casey?
Oh, wow. I've learned resilience from both of them. I think, you know, the fact that Jess has played at this level for so many years and yet still continues to dominate and grow her game is, you know, something that I think we can all learn from. And although she says, oh, I'm getting old, I don't want to keep doing it, I can't keep doing this, my body's not allowing me, she still goes out and she still kills everybody every single week. So, you know, the fact that she continues to rock up and have that passion and pride is, I think, really special, because you can fall out of love with the game if you let it. And so for her to tick over however many games she's had now, I can't remember what we celebrated last year, Jess, but it's a lot. Yeah, there was a few balloons out there. Is you know, is really special, and I think you know, yeah, that's what you want to see out of your players. And I think for Casey, you know, I've coached Casey for many years across 3 clubs now. You know, I met her at her junior club where she was talking about, and she moved with me when I went into our country league here, and then has now come across to South Adelaide. So, you know, for me, that now goes beyond the game. That's someone that I guess has belief in me, and I have belief in her, and that's a really special connection. So, they're the sort of players you want around you, that you know, understand you, understand your brand, understand your styles, and it's a real two-way street. And you know, it goes beyond just player and coach. So, you know, they continue to challenge me. They continue to push me and push me to the edge at times. But, you know, they're incredible people. The entire squad's an incredible team. And, you know, I'm just so thrilled to be a small part of it.
Saying that, I'm going to reverse the question for the players. Why have you left from Reece?
I actually was saying this last year because, you know, having Reece in new to our club, he's been such a breath of fresh air for my own playing career. I have actually, you know, while I am a bit of an old girl, and it's hard to get, you know, the message sunk in to hear me to do it. Some of the way that he approaches the game and his creativity has been really great for myself, and brings in a lot of different ideas that, you know, I haven't been taught before, out of the many coaches that I've had. So I've loved having Reece. I've learned a lot from him. So yeah, no, he's been great for me. So thanks, Reece.
For me, Reece is just so knowledgeable. I've learned a lot from him for many, many years, and he's helped me, not just as a player, but as a person. And also when I had a little coaching stint, he helped me there as well. So I owe him a lot. But yeah, I know I'll continue to learn a lot from Reece still.
And then continuing a bit of a, I guess, the same similar theme. So Casey and Jess, what have you learnt from each other on and off the court?
I know I don't need to pass the ball so high to Casey.
I've just decided to establish Jess's eyes now, so I can tell when she gives me this look, it means to give her the ball.
Yeah. I need it now. No, it's been really great playing with Casey. I think, you know, she's kind of fitted in seamlessly into our attack end. I think because she's, you know, she's not this, you know, young 20-year-old girl. She's got the playing experience there, which, you know, that's no offense, of course, because I'm old. But I think she's fit in really well in terms of having that experience and, you know, knowing how to play the game without having to do every second pass or things like that. So she kind of comes in and out of the game where she is really needed, and makes some really smart decisions with the ball. So I think, you know, she's been great to play with so far.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks, Jess. But no, yeah, I have learned so much from Jess already, and it's only been a few games. But yeah, it's just those little things like the communication on court, constantly communicating, whether it is talking or with eyes. But yeah, no, I know I'll continue to learn a lot from Jess as well this season, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
So what will be your advice to people that should get involved in netball, and especially getting down to South Adelaide?
I think like South Adelaide's a great family club. There are a lot of girls out here that have been there for years. I mean, looking at our league and resi side, there are a lot of players who've been here since they're juniors. So I think in terms of that, great family club. But netball in itself, like netball is a great sport. You know, regardless of whether you're playing at, you know, our competitive level or, you know, the grassroots or whatever, I think it's a great sport to play, but it's the friendships that come along with it. Like, I think for me, and the idea of finishing up one day is quite scary, because I think I love the people that I'm with all the time. So, and that's the part I think I'll be most sad about is, you know, you wouldn't be seeing everyone. So the friendships that come from it are really important. So,
yeah.
You know, whether that's between players, coaches, whatever, you know, it's good.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I couldn't imagine a world without netball. You know, might start off with something as fitness, but it's the connections that come along with it. But yeah, definitely recommend to anybody wanting to get into it, go out there, give it a crack. But yeah, I think the connections and the people that you meet along the way will probably be the most memorable part of it.
I think, you know, it says a lot about the culture of our club that, Someone like Casey, for example, travels almost an hour 2 times a week to training. She lives on the opposite side of the city. In fact, she drives past her old club in order to get to our club. But that shows her, not just her commitment and determination, but that we've hopefully established an environment that players want to be at. And we're not the biggest club by any stretch, nor do we want to be the biggest club, because we don't want our players to get lost. We don't want our players to become numbers, and we want to be able to give opportunity where opportunity is earned. And you sometimes can't do that when you're at a club that's got 500 plus players with 40 odd teams and a whole bunch of volunteer coaches that end up having to step up because they can't find actual accredited experienced coaches. So we're not the biggest, but I like to think we're one of the best, if not the best. And we'll continue to grow and learn from our experiences. But I've been at a few clubs now, and I'm really happy with where we are, and I wouldn't want to be going anywhere anytime soon.
Casey, at South Adelaide, and your coach mentioned about you going past your former club. Have you versed them yet this year?
No, so that's actually Gawler Central's from the Barossa League.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, different league. But yeah, I played there for the last, I think it was 3 or 4 years. So I've made the switch to the literally other side of the city.
Okay, fair enough. I was just checking to make sure it wasn't another Premier League club. So
no, it's the Barossa League.
I wouldn't have allowed her to join the Premier League if it wasn't at my club. So.
Fair enough. Good point. A couple light-hearted questions about the team, which is who's the comedian, the best singer, and the best dancer on the team?
We've got a lot of jokers on the team.
Yeah.
Some think they're funny than what they are. But we've got a lot of jokers, a lot of dry humour, I think, circles our squad. Jess is one of them. But yeah, we do have a lot of laughs on and off the court, which is good.
Yeah, no, we have a good laugh. I have a good laugh. I mean, I think Maggie comes up with some cracker one-liners too. Whether it's appropriate or not, but I get around it. I think it's great.
I feel like I've heard Beth singing at training sometimes, though. I reckon she's a bit of a singer, Beth.
Oh, she's a singer. I don't know if she can actually.
I think she thinks she is, yeah.
She will sing. She will give it a crack.
I'm good for it.
In terms of dances, I mean, I don't know too many dances, but you see a bit of Bianca Drum and our Resi's captain, Sophie Killick. They get around the TikTok dances a fair bit too. So, if you hit up the South Adelaide TikTok page, you'll see them, cracking a few moves every now and then.
Because they always put me on them and they don't tell me what I'm meant to be doing. And then I look
classic stitch up, say, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can't wait when I have Maggie on the show, when I come over Adelaide in a couple of weeks. So I'll put her to the test on her singing abilities. Either of you have a pre-game superstition, ritual, or routine?
Myself, not really. I think having my hectic life with my kids and working, there's not really much time before the game to get too superstitious. But I do. I'm one that I'm hot keen, always making sure I get there basically ASAP and put up more than probably 200 shots before I go. Not just go until I have to stop. So big thing that I do weekly.
Not too much for me, actually. I don't mind a bit of an energy drink and listen to some good music, but that's probably about it.
And of course, I have to ask as well, anyone on the team that has any good hidden talents that we should know about?
Oh.
We've got Gibbo, who also plays in the top basketball. Is it NBL 1? Is that what they call it?
Yes, correct.
Side. So she plays for South Adelaide in both basketball and netball, which I think is a pretty awesome feat in and of itself. So maybe not so hidden. I think she's on their socials all the time as well. But it's a pretty good thing to put on your resume.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, I don't know too much else otherwise. I mean, have you got anything, Reese?
Not that I'm aware of.
I think a lot of us just have all Gumby hands and fingers. If you know, you're looking at weird things. We're all
We
kind
all
of
seem to hurt our pinkies for some reason.
a lot of messed up hands in our team.
Yeah.
Coming over to Adelaide to watch one of your games in about 2 weeks' time against Oakdale, which is another tough schedule for you.
Yes.
As well, another top 4 team from last season. I guess what would be your advice to me when I come across to watch this play on a Friday night?
Get your navy on, mate.
Yeah. No purple. Solid navy. Sit down. Our end of the court.
Yeah.
Green.
We'll keep an eye out for you.
Heckle. Do whatever.
Yeah.
No, I think just come ready. We'll hit the court hard. And hopefully after a win next week, we'll be keen to go for the next one. So. I think expect a good solid game, hopefully from us, and a win on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, you might have to dip me out with some South Adelaide stuff then. Was the final one I have to ask, and I guess obviously you at the moment the only club that associated with a Sandford football club at the moment, which obviously that's going to change as of next year because obviously I think the Jags are going to be joining a Sandford club as well. I guess. How special is that to have some sort of a supportive relationship from the football side?
I think it's great. I think we haven't had probably as much to do with them as what we could have. I think because of where we train, there's a fair bit of distance. But in terms of South Adelaide, there is so many sports that are aligned with the South Adelaide sporting club. I suppose we've got the basketball and the volleyball also. So there's a lot of and obviously having the Sandford women's as well. So I think there's a lot of South proud people out there, which is I think it's great for us. So it's nice to be part of this big franchise and having a lot of elite athletes at high levels. So
I think it was like Jess says, we're not like it's not a day-to-day thing, but certainly we come under that South Adelaide banner and we get behind each other. I think at our grand final the footy. The girls were out in full force to help support us, and
the Panther mascot.
Panther mascot makes his appearance all the time, which is great. But you end up playing for something bigger than just yourself. You're not just playing for a club. You're playing for really an entire community. Like we are the sole Premier League club of Southern Adelaide. So that's a massive part of the state, and we need to rep that with pride. And it's the same goes for the footy, volleyball and basketball. When we put this top on, you're playing for a whole region.
Well, all three, thank you so much for giving up so many time to join us. I can't wait to come over to Adelaide in 2 weeks' time, and I'm sure you're glad to play on a Friday night, not a Wednesday night that you've been doing the last couple
Bring
of
weeks.
So, I can't wait to watch you in action, and hopefully all goes well against Oakdale not this weekend, the one after you play Mitrix.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No worries, and of course that's Reese, Casey, and Jess. They're joining us from the South Adelaide Premier League team. Of course, this coming Wednesday, of course, they take on Metrics, and of course, the following Friday they take on Oakdale. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away. Here on the 15th year celebration.